listening to Rescue Community Church. For more information, check us out at www.rescue.cc.
YouTube video. It came out a couple of weeks ago, and it is this serious headhunting company that's doing interviews over Skype. They're interviewing these people for this, they call it the most important job in the world. And they go over all these things. They basically say you have to stand all the time. You don't get a lunch break. You don't really get sleep. You get no vacation. Oh, and everyone's like, that's insane. We don't get a lunch break. You don't get a bathroom break, and if you do, you're not allowed to go by yourself. The other people around can go with you. And so they're talking about this, and these people think it's a very serious interview. And so some people are like, there's no way I want this job at all. And then one lady was like, well, how much does it pay? And the guy goes, well, the best part about it is you do it all for free. And the girl goes, ew, why? And so then, of course, they come out and they say, it's a mom. This is what a mom does every day. And so then you have these full-grown men like, oh, you got me. And then you have some like, I want to call my mom. And so they're really sad. And the truth of the matter is, we do a lot. We wear a lot of different hats. But I don't know about you moms. Sometimes I get lost in all the things that I do. I lose some of who I am as a person. I'm a wife and I'm a mom. I do all these things, but sometimes I have a hard time finding who I am as a person. Yes, I'm a mom and I love it. I'm not downing being a mom. It's wonderful, but sometimes it would be nice to be Beck or not just Tom's wife or not just Kenzie, Abby, and Noah's mom. It's nice to have identity. So I'm learning a ton of things. I've only been a mom for 8.5 years, but I'm learning a lot of things along the way. And so I want to give you a couple things this morning, moms. And I don't just think it's about moms. I think all of us can benefit from these things. I want to give you a couple of things that we're going to learn today about being a mom. So are you guys okay with that? A super mom, Do you have that picture? Yes, I want you to see this. This is how I feel about my life. Let's be honest, right? That is how you feel. And sometimes you just don't even care that the dog is eating spaghetti or that the child, look at the kid's head in the microwave. You don't care. That is exactly how you feel. And then you have to come and look nice for church on Sunday morning. Newsflash, this is what we look like 10 minutes before Sunday morning service. So can you be a super mom? And I think you can. So the first thing to being a super mom, it's a little shocking, is you have to be selfish. And I know it sounds crazy to say that, but it is so true. It sounds bonkers. That's my sister's favorite word, and I sort of stole it from her. Bonkers is one of my new favorite words. And you've always been told, don't be selfish, don't be selfish, don't be selfish, but you have to be selfish when you're a mom. Even airlines, and you can say whatever you want about airlines, but even airlines get this concept. You guys you probably don't pay attention to it, but when the stewardess, is that what we're allowed to call them now? Flight attendant, sorry. The flight attendants, they point to the exits and all this, and then they read you that nice thing and how to jump out of the plane, and then they tell you about the oxygen masks, right? Well, I always thought it was crazy because they always say put your oxygen mask on first and then put it on your children or your loved ones, help them get on. I'm like, that's crazy. My initial instinct is to put it on my children first so that they're okay. Well, the truth of the matter is, and I'm like this, I even tell Tom every time, this is dumb, put it on the kids first. I always tell him, don't listen to the flight attendant. But the truth is, the reason they say that is because if I don't put the mask on myself first, I'm not going to be there to help my kids. And that's so true with us. If we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't take care and spend time with God, if we don't take care of ourselves personally, we can't be good moms. I absolutely 100% know by Saturday, I told Tom this yesterday, by Saturday night, I have officially lost my mind. It's true. I want to cry, and then I feel a little mad, and then I'm like, oh, everything's fine, and then I go upstairs and the house it looks like something's exploded. If we leave our children alone for half of a minute, it is insanity everywhere. Every piece of glitter, every piece of paper. I can't even, first of all, I didn't even know that we had the things that they have gotten out, let alone know that they were somewhere. So we have to I become irritable, and I become cranky, and I become overwhelmed, and then guess what happens? I take it out on my kids, or I take it out on my husband, and then after all that happens, here's the vicious cycle. I'm overwhelmed, I'm cranky, I'm tired, I yell at the kids, I burst into tears, I go into the bedroom, I feel like I'm a terrible mother. Oh gosh, I can't believe tomorrow's Mother's Day and I just yelled at the kids. Every time. Every time. Even if it's not Mother's Day, I'm like, I can't believe I'm that kind of mom. Every time. So here's what has to happen. I love this verse. It's Matthew chapter 6, verse 30 to 33. And this is out of the Message. I'm going to use a couple of different translations this morning, but I love how this says this. It says, if God gives such attention to the appearance of wildflowers, most of which are not ever seen, don't you think he'll attend to you, take pride in you, do his best for you? What am I trying to do here is to get you to relax, to not be so preoccupied with getting so you can respond to God's giving. People who don't know God and the way he works fuss over these things, but you know both God and how he works. Steep your life in God reality, God initiative, and God provisions. Don't worry about missing out. You'll find all your everyday human concerns will be met. Okay, so I read that, and of course, all of you that know me know I cry a lot. My children now, anytime anything even remotely sappy is on, it's like clockwork. All four of them, so Tom and my four children, turn their heads and stare at me instead of watching the commercial. And they're like, wait for it. It's coming. She's going to cry. So, and I'm like, stop looking at me. You're ruining my tears. You're ruining it. Because I enjoy to cry. So I love how the Message puts this, though. It says, you'll find all of your everyday human concerns will be met. I don't know about you, but as a mom, I feel like I have to have everything together. I've got to get it. If I don't do this, it's not going to get done. I need to relax. That verse says relax. I'm not very good at relaxing. Even when I watch TV, I kind of feel like I need to be playing on my phone, or I need to be folding laundry, or I need to be doing something else because I can't just do nothing. I hate that about myself. I'm trying to change it. And so here's the thing. What do you have to do? Well, it says that another translation says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all of these things will be added to you. We need to take time to spend time with God for us. If you're I'm not a list maker. I'm forcing myself to become a list maker and put things down on a calendar or an appointment. You have to write it down. If you can't just do it, if you can't just spend time reading your Bible, or you can't just spend some alone time, because let's face it, ladies, we don't even get to go to the bathroom by ourselves. My dog now has learned that he can push his stinking little paw underneath the door. I'm like, seriously? There are so many other places for you to go right now. I would just like to go to the bathroom without your dumb little paw under the door. Or the kids, they could be leaving me alone for a good half hour. The second they hear that bathroom door close, Mom, Noah did this, I'm telling. It's true. You can't go to the bathroom yourself. So here's the thing. We have to make it important to take care of ourselves. We have to. There's no getting around it. If you don't do this one thing, if you don't become selfish in this area of your life, everything else is going to fall short. You have to do something for you. Spend time with the Lord. Seek ye first his kingdom and all this stuff. Or as the Message says, you'll find all your everyday human concerns will be met. And another way to be selfish is find a hobby. Do something just for you. I've been a stay-at-home mom the whole time our kids have been, the whole time I've been a mom. Had the luxury of staying home. And so I just became a realtor, and I was filling out my application for the job, and it says, what are your interests? And I was like, I can color really good. Or I could sing every word to the Bubble Guppies, or I know every single word to Hook. You know, I can make a great sword. I can sword fight. Does that count for anything good? I can comb a doll's hair. So I'm thinking, then of course, because I cry, guess who bursts into tears again? Because I'm filling out my application and I don't have any interests other than coloring. I don't have anything to do. And so God really showed me that it's okay to take care of me. And I'm finding that I have found a sense of, now that I have a big girl job, I'm wearing my big girl pants to work. My mom bought me some new pants. since I like to just wear sweatpants at home, so I couldn't just wear painted sweatpants to sell somebody their home. Not sure they're going to buy it from me if my hair's in a knot and I have painted sweatpants on. So I find a sense and I find relief when I am doing something for myself. When I spend time in the Word of God, it relaxes me. I take a few minutes, I breathe a little bit, and I feel like I'm a better mom and I'm a better wife. Yes, I'm taking a whole half an hour for myself a day, but I am a better the rest of those hours because I do that. You will be better if you're a little bit selfish. Does that make sense? Yeah. So here's the thing. Satan knows that. He knows that if we don't spend time with God or we don't take time to become better women on our own and for ourselves, he knows that if he can distract us with even good things, that he wins. So I want you to not be distracted. I want you to be selfish this week. Start today. Today is the perfect day to start being selfish on Mother's Day. So number 2 is stop comparing. Let's be honest, most of us are on Facebook or Pinterest, and we love it. However, I think that it's slowly turning us all into people that have to keep up with the Joneses. How about you? Yeah. I think it's great. I love that I can see my friends from high school, their kids. I love all these creative things, but let me just tell you, stupid Pinterest, it puts an intense amount of pressure on moms. Because let me just tell you a few things. I just want to show you a few things that are on Pinterest. And when you as a normal mother try to do them, this is how they turn out. All right. So, don't compare. So this is what is on Pinterest. Can you guys see it, or is that in the way? Is my staying in the way? Let's be honest. We all know that bottom one is how those stupid chocolates turn out. Right? All right. Let's the next one. I wanted to try this one, but I didn't even attempt it. There's a lovely minion cake. You know that's true. And so here's 2 things. Here's the thing. Somebody bought that Pinterest cake from an actual baker and pretended that they did it themselves. And that is how that's how it would turn out. All right, next. Swirl nails. Yep. That's definitely me. Nailed it. Honestly, that lady didn't do that herself, or if she did, she's magical. She has unicorns or something that lives in her house, because she didn't do that on her own. Next. Yeah, hours and hours later. Or the melted crayon's my favorite. That is, I'm sorry. I have tried to melt crayons. First of all, tried to melt one. It takes forever, and it does not look like that. I really don't know how they do these things. All right. Or the glow jar. This one's my favorite. It's so true. It doesn't work. It's like Mountain Dew and a glow stick or something like that. It doesn't work. And your kids we're like, I will never forget our kids. It was last summer, and the kids are like, Mom, we saw this. Our friend's mom said it works. And instantly in my head, I'm like, that mom lies. She lies to her children. And so we tried it, and then of course we're so excited to do it. That's the other thing. When you talk about Pinterest, you're all excited to do the project, and then the kids just cry too because it's terrible. So that is how it turns out. There is no glowing happening in those glow jars. All right, next. Or the Christmas photos. Those are my favorite. There is no baby. And first of all, I feel like there was like 200,000 pictures they took to get that one picture. That is how my kids would have been screaming. And I like the lights in the back, how they're all like, I love it. It's so true. All right, go ahead, next. Or this one. First of all, why are you putting your child in a pumpkin? The kid is horrified and scarred for life. 2 reasons. One, his mom shoved him into a pumpkin. And second, it's on the internet, so everybody knows that this poor child, his mom wanted to do Pinterest and feel cool. It never turns out right. Look at that kid, that poor kid. And that kid's not real. That's Photoshop, kid. All right, next one. Or this lovely, artsy family picture. And then that kid's won't even show his face. Noah refuses in almost all pictures to smile or show his face. He turns his head and is like, no. And I'm like, just smile once. That is how the picture actually turns out. Nobody even looks that good in real life, just so you know. So I think those are all of them, right, Rob? That was the last one. So that is the truth. So feel better about yourself, moms, when you go and try stupid Pinterest things and they don't work, because they don't really work for anybody. And I don't know about you, but I honestly find myself comparing. Tom and I talk about this all the time. I guess I should go back to the middle, huh? Probably. So I find myself, that laundry basket, boy, do I wish my laundry was only that high in that basket. If you are a friend of mine that has been into my laundry room, I'm sorry if you've seen it. I happily launder my clothes, but when I tell you I don't fold them, I mean that. I'm not going to tell you everything because, it's too horrifying. So, I don't know, when I look at Pinterest, or when I look at Facebook especially, I look at all of these people and their kids are smiling and there's dancing and there's frolicking and there's the best pictures at Disney and there's all these things. And I'm just like, Tom, why are we like this? And so here's the problem. And here's what I want you to remember. And if you remember nothing else today, stop comparing yourself. Because here's the point. We're comparing our everyday, normal life to other people's highlight reels. It's not the same. It's not, no one ever puts their sink full of dishes as their profile picture. Or no one's ever putting the dog poop in the yard or the kid puke on your shirt. No mom is taking a selfie of herself when she just got out of bed. She didn't wash her makeup off the night before, so her mascara is down to here, and her hair is all over the place. There's puke. That you're still wearing the shirt from the night before because you were too tired to change and you crawled into bed. No one's taking selfies of that. So we can't compare ourselves and think, I don't have that woman's life. Well, no kidding, she doesn't have that life either. That's 1 second of her life. And that's the truth, right? Vacation, when you take pictures, the reason you take pictures are to forget the bad parts of vacation. Everyone talks about, oh yay, we're going to Disney. And I'm like, oh my gosh, another week of work. It's another week. It's double work, really. Vacation is double work for moms. So here's the point. Stop comparing yourself to everybody's great moments. Your everyday moments are never going to compare to everyone else's great ones. And your everyday moments don't compare to your great ones. We had the privilege of we went to, if anybody watches baseball, I don't know if people still do, but we went to a Pirates game on Monday night, and it was my kids' first major league game. We went with a bunch of pastors from Pendel. And first of all, 9 innings is a really long time to begin with. It's a lot of innings, a lot of time watching a guy swinging him. He's like, it's almost over, right? I'm like, not even halfway, buddy. And so Tom's dad and his stepmom left at like halfway through, I think maybe the 6th inning or something. And Noah decided that he wanted to stay with us. And I'm like, honey, you really can go home with Grandma and Pap-Pap. I mean, you should go home. You'll enjoy yourself much more if you go home. So all the kids decided to stay. Well, it gets a little bit cold, and it's tied at the bottom of the 9th inning, okay? It's tied. So we go into extra innings. It's tied at the bottom of the 10th. We get to 13 innings. There were 13 innings in this game, okay? It was over at 1:15 in the morning, okay? Longest baseball game of my entire life, all right? So if you look on Facebook, we had the privilege of this is the only reason, by the way, that we stayed, because we got to go on the field after and throw the ball around in PNC Park. But I guess people want to do those sorts of things, and I thought, you know what, if the kids want to do it, Abby really wanted to do it. So the kids, it is the top of the 12th, and at this point, Abby is laid out on a couple of the seats, kind of like humped over, and Kenzie is weeping. I just want to go home. I'm not weeping. Noah is like, this is stupid. I hate baseball. I hate it. So 1:45 rolls around. We finally 1:15 is game over. We walk down underneath, and we're on the field. It's 1:45. I'm sure many of you have seen the lovely pictures at PNC Park with my family. I didn't take pictures of them weeping in the seats 10 minutes beforehand. So remind yourself in those moments when, oh, yay, the Arnold's got to go. We barely pulled it together for that picture, folks. So here's the thing. As many of you know, my husband is a deal maker, okay? He will not pay top dollar for anything. We will never pay for parking, ever. It doesn't matter how far away. So,
I don't care what Harrisburg does. I won't pay for it.
yes. So, we don't pay for parking. So, what does my husband do? He's like, okay, kids, this is before the game. He drops us off. There's right by the park. There's a train stop or a bus stop there. So, we sat and the kids were running around. He parks at the casino because it's free parking, right? Well, the casino is like a mile away from the ballpark. Not so bad at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but when it's after 2 a.m. and we've been through 13 innings of baseball and the kids just want to be carried the whole way home, I'm like, we're going to pay for parking next time. And what did Tom say? No, we're not.
I said that one might be worth it.
Yeah, so don't stop comparing yourself. Guess what? You have amazing, amazing, amazing qualities as you as a mom that nobody else has. Psalm 139:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. I have to tell you, this is insane to me. So I was looking up, when I was studying for this, getting ready for the sermon, I was looking up expensive paintings. And the most expensive painting, it's going to come up here. Okay, I would like you to see this.
It's a crayon thing.
Yeah. Okay, wait till you hear how much some fool paid for this. This is a Jackson Pollock. It's number 5. I'm sure number 4 is so much different. It's number 5, 1948. Anyone want to take, I like this word, want to take a gander of how much somebody spent for this? How much? $4.5 million, somebody said. Anybody else?
$29 million.
$29 million?
$1.99.
Not even worth $1.99. Ready for this? $148 million. What? So here's the thing. They know he's dead and not doing it again is probably why. Actually, I don't even care. That's ridiculous. No, this is on Pinterest. This is the failed attempt on Pinterest. So it was sold for $148 million. Actually, $148.1 million in 2006. Okay? Guess what? I can go on the internet right now and I can buy a copy of this puppy for $600. Here's the thing, ladies and men. When you compare yourself, you're always going to be a copy of somebody else. And when you're a copy, you're not worth as much as the original. It looks the same, but somebody paid almost $150 million, and I can go and buy one now for $600. God created you fearfully and wonderfully, and every single time we try to be a different mom or we try to be somebody else, we're selling our kids, our spouses, our friends, we're selling them short. We're worth $150 million, whether we want to believe it or not. You're worth that. But every time you try to be somebody else, you're selling yourself short and you're cheapening what God actually made you. Don't compare yourself to everybody else. I do not have the gifts that Michelle has. And if I try to be Michelle, I'm going to fail. I'm always going to be second to who Michelle really is. But if I try to be me, I can be the best version. Nobody can be a better me. Nobody can be a better you. So be the $150 million version of you rather than a $600 copy of somebody else. Be the best version. Also, this is a side note I just want to say. Your kids don't have to do everything. I am a mom of 3 young children, and all of the kids in my kids' classes, almost all of them, they do 50,000 things. They play soccer, they dance, they do gymnastics, they play t-ball, they play chess. My children know how to play chess, and I don't know how to play chess. All of these things, they're reading these 1,200-page books in 3rd grade. Come on. I don't think Tom's ever read a 1,200-page book in his 35 years of life. Let's be honest. Right now, I know it sounds funny, but it's definitely true. We as moms want everything for our children. Newsflash, our kids, let's face it, they're not going to be the number one athlete in the world and the number one dancer and the number one doctor and the highest paid actress. They cannot physically be all of those things. It's okay to let our kids be kids. It's okay to let them play dolls. It's okay to do these things. We don't have to keep up with the Joneses. We don't have to do it. Our kids are going to be adults very quickly and for a very long time. They only get to be kids for 18 years. And let's be honest, by 16, we're pushing them to decide what they want to do for college and what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Let them be children. I'm going to be an adult forever. Do I wish that I could go back and have an American Girl doll that looked like me and play with it? Absolutely. I told Tom that Molly was my favorite American Girl doll, and she is retired. No, you can't get her anymore. And so I came this close to buying a doll for myself, which is ridiculous. But part of that is wanting to be a kid again. Don't rush your kids' years. Don't do it. Because here's the thing. Your kids are not going to remember every single car ride or every event that you took them to or all the things. They're going to remember the small moments. And they're going to remember that you taught them to be confident, godly children and turn them into godly and confident adults. Don't sell yourself short because you want to be everybody else. Don't sell your kids short because you want to one-up the moms. I have to reel myself in. I love throwing birthday parties. I love it. Okay, my kids are young. And Tom's like, you better reel this in because what are we going to do with them when they're 10? And that's the truth. And part of us moms, we want to give our kids everything. We don't have to give them everything. Allow them to enjoy life. Number 3, sweat the small stuff. I know that's not the saying. It's don't sweat the small stuff. But I want you to sweat the small stuff. I think this is probably my favorite family picture ever. Do you guys know what's happening here? The child is falling on her skull. She's 2, and they're all like, yay, this is so nice. And the child is plummeting to her death. We want this picture-perfect moment in life. And this is more like it. The child falls. I don't know if any of you have ever seen, anybody watched Raising Hope ever? Cute show. There is one episode where Virginia, the mom, it's called Family Portraits, and she wants every family portrait to be perfect. So she goes out and makes them all wear skiing outfits, and then she gets them all to wear the same thing, and everybody's so mad and so angry. And they're going through their photo albums, and they remember the terrible part of those family photos. Nothing about those family photos were enjoyable. And then the last one, they just decided that they went to get their family photo, and like the grandma, she's Clarice Leachman, she's hilarious. She gets so stressed out when they make her take these pictures. She's like 90 years old, she eats lipstick. It stresses her out, so she eats lipstick. I know, it's weird, but anyway. So they're coming back, they're all angry at each other, and they're all shoved in this truck, the dad's work truck at the end, and there's a song that comes on the radio, and it's a ridiculous song, and they all start singing it together. And the dad runs a red light, so he gets a ticket in the mail with a picture of their family, and the family's smiling. And they're totally enjoying life because they're singing a song that reminded them of life. And we as moms try to create these fabricated moments to remember. Their very favorite family photo in the show was that ticket, was when they ran the red light, because they were all not thinking about the perfection. They were thinking about what that song meant to them. And so many times we want our kids to grow up. We think about where they're going to go to college, what they're going to be when they grow up, or what they're going to do, and we miss the little stuff. We miss the little things. The small things in life are what's really important. We do a thing at our house, because everybody does it first, like your first birthday, or all your first. You lose your first tooth, you ride your bike for the first time, but we've decided to do the lasts. We celebrate the first 2, but we do the lasts. Like we call it the Last Supper. It's the day before the kids go to school in the summer. Our whole family, extended family, and everyone get together, and that kid gets to pick out where they want to go out to eat, and we just have a fun time together at the Last Supper, because Noah will have his first Last Supper in August. And we want to remember the small things. You want your kids to remember that you read a book with them, or you played dollies, or you let them ride their bike. Like, sweat the small stuff. Make the small stuff important. Because I always got so mad when everybody was like, enjoy every moment because it's going to be gone. I hated it. It's like, stop it. They're crying all night long and they're not sleeping. Nothing goes by fast in the first 6 months. It's so slow. The truth of the matter is, it goes by fast. My youngest is 5. And I know there's a lot of you that have kids that are grown and they're out of the house, and I can't imagine what that must feel like. So if you don't have kids that are grown, enjoy every moment. Enjoy the small moments in life. Save the dishes until tomorrow, because guess what? Even if you do the dishes, there's going to be some tomorrow. Save the laundry till later. Pay the bill when they go to bed. Like, your kids, you have them for a short time. Take time to enjoy the small stuff. Don't miss it. And number 4, stop being the hero. Sounds crazy, right? Because everyone says that mom is a super mom and she can do everything. And when I found that picture, I really wanted to put my mom's head on there. That's what I wanted to do. Kind of reminds me of my mom. I didn't know how she'd feel about me cutting her head off and putting it on this woman's body, but I sort of wanted to do it. Reminded me of her. It sounds crazy, because everybody, we take pride in all the things that we do. We take pride that we can do everything on our own. If our husbands are gone, we can do it. And then we laugh at them when we leave for a couple of days and they have to do it. We laugh. Here's the thing, we're wrong. Have you ever heard the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child? It's true. Stop trying to do it on your own. I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to not let people help me with laundry. Let me tell you, if you offered to help me fold my laundry, I would welcome it with open arms. That wouldn't have been me a couple years ago. I was too embarrassed that I had so much laundry to do or my house wasn't clean. We weren't meant to do it on our own. Our culture teaches us that independence and climbing to the top yourself and doing everything on your own, that is how we should do it. That is not how God intended us to do it. God intended us to work together and to rely on Him. God didn't intend for us to be supermom. Matthew 11:28-30 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and I'm humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." God has called us to give Him our burdens. You don't have to be a mom to give God your burdens. But I almost feel like as a mom, we feel like we are lacking or we're not doing a good enough job if we need help. We need help. And so that's what a church is for. That's what your family's for. That's what your friends are for. God didn't ask us to do it by Himself. I talked about this a couple months ago. God even has the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He doesn't do it on His own. When He came to earth, He didn't do it on His own. He didn't do His own ministry. You are called, if you are a mom, you are called to be a mom. You may have other parts of callings too. I know that I'm called to other things, not just being a mom, but it's part of my calling. We're never meant to go through our calling alone. So, if you are a man here, or you don't have children, how does that tie into you? How does it tie into the church as a whole? The bottom line for all of these things is we can't do life by ourselves, or a husband, or a father, or even a kid by ourselves. Think about it. Even Kid President said, without moms, we wouldn't be here. You don't just magically appear and you're a kid. There's lots of things that have to happen, and that's for another time. I'm not giving you that lesson, folks. Especially not in front of everyone. I'd be too embarrassed and cry. So here's the truth. We can't do it alone. And so we're talking about our Propel series. We're talking about our stewardship campaign. And we're talking about what rescue is going to be like as a church. And Tom talked about this morning, there are 250,977 people Lots of them are moms, lots of them aren't, but not one of them can do life by themselves, not one of them. And there are so many people that don't realize that they need God, or that there's people to help. There are so many people that feel alone. There's so many people out there that compare themselves to everybody else. There's so many single moms out there that think, my gosh, I would like to just eat a hot meal, and I would like to not have to work 2 full-time jobs to make life happen. We're dedicated as a church to sharing the love of Christ to these people. And one of the ways that we want to share it is through outreach. We talk about this all the time. That outreach is one of the ways that we want to show our community that we care and that we love them. And so we're really excited about one that's coming up 4th of July weekend. How many of you were with us for last year's 4th of July where we handed out glow sticks and invite cards? Anybody come with us? Some of you might have loved it, some of you might not have not. Well, it so happens that 4th of July is on a Friday this year, so we're going to do a weekend long. If the ushers are ready, if you guys could hand out the Propel cards that were on the table, that would be really awesome. If you did not get one of these cards last week, if you could just raise your hand and the ushers will give them to you. These cards are basically saying that you're going to partner with us as a church, and you're going to pray with us or be willing to give financially over the next couple of weeks. And I'll explain more of that to you. So you can just hold on to these cards as they go by. So one of our core values as a church is that we want to enjoy life together. So we're going to have we're going to do an outreach 4th of July weekend. And Friday, we are going to hand out glow sticks again, but instead of handing out invites to church, we're going to hand out invites to a block party. And it'll be the very next day, which is nice because remember last year we didn't have a service for an entire month after that. So now that we're weekly, it's going to hopefully work a lot better. So we will do Friday night, we'll hand out glow sticks all over the river, and we'll hand out invite cards for the next day for a block party. And we're really hoping to get our good friend Seth Franco. He was a Harlem Globetrotter, and he is amazing, and he is really he really connects really well with people, and we're hoping to get him to come for a block party, and we're going to do a lot of the same things. We'll have the bounce house and the cotton candy and all the stuff that we had last time. And then we're hoping on Saturday that people come for free food and all of that. And then we'll invite them to church here on Sunday morning, and hopefully Seth Franco can come and speak on Sunday morning. Here's the thing, and here's the bummer, and everybody gets sad. Things cost money. Whether we like it or not, nobody wants to talk about money because it's uncomfortable and because it's weird. Well, I'm a mom, and I talk about uncomfortable, weird things all the time. So I'm going to talk to you like I would talk about anything else uncomfortable. There are so many things that Rescue wants to do as a church when it comes to outreach. We want to give away backpacks. We are connecting with Dairy Street School. A friend of ours works there, and there's a lot of things. We want to go in and have people go in and read books to the kids and talk to them. We want to provide so many things for our community, but they don't just magically appear. And so we're asking God for finances. There's a lot of exciting things Tom's going to share with you over the next couple of weeks, but we need you. We can't do this by ourselves. We can't possibly grow Rescue just Tom and I. And so we need you to join with us. And one thing that I would love for you guys to pray about, I'm going to show you a short video as you think and pray over your cards. Tom and I have always had a heart for people that work really hard but are just kind of down and out. Everyone has been there before, whether you lost your job or something tragic happens or somebody gets hurt, or we've always had a heart, and what we've wanted to do, this is part of the reason why I decided to go into real estate, is we want to buy a few homes. And we would like halfway houses, but our heart is to buy a few homes that we can let people live there rent-free for a year so they can get back on their feet. And we have talked about, Tom and I have talked about this for years. God has given us just some really cool things. And it so happens that a good friend of ours, Pastor Jeff Davidson, is in Ohio, and they also, this has also been on their heart, and they're actually ahead of us. Their church is about 5 or 6 years old, and they were able to recently buy a home, and we're going to share a video of you of what this does for a family. So as you're watching this video, if you want to just pray and think about your cards, I'd like you to watch this video, and then I'll close. That is why Rescue's here. There are so many people like that. And she had the privilege of knowing Jesus in the midst of that mess. I can't imagine being a mom of an 8-month-old and having my husband tell me that he met a woman 5 weeks ago and then would be gone. Your whole world would fall apart. Rescue's not here just for us. We're here for that. And I want to give you the amazing opportunity. Here's the thing. Sacrifice, yes. Finances, yes. But the blessings that come from pouring into people like that far outweigh the sacrifice that you give. There are 250,977 people in this very small area that don't have hope. We have it. There are some strapping young lads in the middle of this auditorium that could happily move some boxes. We need you. Tom and I can't do it on our own. We've talked about this before. We can't. We need you. And I don't know about you, but 5-6 years from now, you better believe that Rescue is going to be buying homes for people. And wouldn't it be awesome if you guys were part of that? There's going to be lots of people that come to RCC 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now that don't get the privilege in the beginning to start. There's something really awesome about starting something. So I'm going to pray, and if you take those cards, you may have done this last week, but if you want to be a part of this financially, we need you to pray. We need your strong muscles. We need your hands to hand out cards. We need your smiling faces, but we need funds too. Tom and I are sacrificially giving as well. I don't want you to think for a second that we're only asking you. God wants to do something amazing, and his plan is to do it through us. God could easily just zap everyone and make everything okay, but he doesn't. It's so cool that we get to do it. He uses us to do it. So I'm going to pray, and if you feel compelled to be a part of our Propel stewardship campaign, please take those cards. The top one is for you to remember to pray, and the bottom one is going to be for church, so we can just track the giving. And in a month, we're going to give what's called a first fruits offering. We're going to give the best that we can come up with in a month. And so ask God over the next couple of weeks what you can give. So let's pray. Father, I thank you for each person that's here. I thank you that you use us. And God, I thank you that we are uniquely involved.
You are listening to Rescue Community Church. For more information, check us out at www.rescue.cc.